It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice.
This is The Outer Worlds, an open-world sci-fi RPG following a survivor from a lost colony ship making their way in the dystopian Halcyon colony, a star system ruled by corporations exploiting everything and everyone who lives there. Today we find out, is The Outer Worlds still worth playing in 2023? We open on this guy, Phineas Wells. He's on board a stranded colony ship called the Hope, where he'll be reviving us from suspended animation and throwing us into the world so that we can help him to save the rest of the colonists. I moved on to creating my character, and almost immediately I know this decision will make me laugh at least once while making this video. Anyway, finished by naming my character, and off we go. Before we start, you should like and subscribe. 99% if you want, and it's completely free. You'll even get a hug. Anyway, time to be ejected into the universe. Yep, there we go. Ah, well, this is off to a good start. After a basic movement and combat tutorial, I entered the nearest ship, which immediately tried to eject me into space while on the ground. I have been on this planet 30 seconds, and already I'm impersonating a ship captain I crushed and a starship safety inspector that never existed. Before heading into the nearest town, I decided to do a little exploring, which I immediately regretted as I was being attacked by mutant space dogs. As the wilderness seems to dislike me, I tried my luck with civilization instead. I came across Silas, the resident Inhumer, which is basically a gravedigger with one extra job, collecting gravesite fees. Remember the whole exploitation thing I mentioned at the start? This town, Edgewater, is owned by the Spacer's Choice Corporation. Everyone in the town rents their graves from Spacer's Choice. Basically, they pay or they just get thrown in a ditch when they die. Silas sends us to collect some gravesite fees, and also tips us off about the town's leader Reed Thompson in our pursuit of power for our downed ship. It's kind of a unique name, so I'll just call him Dobson for now, it seems easier to remember. So then, Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Abernathy. 4 people, 4 gravesite fees. Seems simple enough. As it turns out, Conrad is a barber/doctor who gives an IOU and the task of digging up a dead guy for gold teeth as collateral. Phyllis is a foreman paying the gravesite fee for the guy who deleted himself, who is coincidentally the same guy Conrad is using for collateral. Ludwig is an insane soldier who thinks the robot uprising is starting and recruits us into an imaginary resistance. And Abernathy is already dying of plague. I think Edgewater isn't as safe as it seems. I did actually succeed in collecting 3 of 4 gravesite fees, but Abernathy has put us on another mission for medicine for his plague outside of the town. But first I'm going to go ahead to see Dobson about our power problem. After a bit of back and forth, eventually Dobson tells us to take a power regulator from a colony of deserters outside of Edgewater and in turn send them back to work in the town. Joining us on that mission is our first party member, Parvati Holcomb. She's an engineer and the best character in the game, that's all you need to know. Parvati quickly informs us that Dobson only gave us one side of the story and we should try to look at both sides. I agree, and somehow that led me to a church. Oops, sorry.
Could you maybe stop talking about me like I'm some kind of weird bug?
It's okay, Parvati, we all love you. So finally on to getting our power regulator, and before we go on, this game looks just amazing. Every environment and every building are so well detailed. It feels like so much work went into really trying to immerse you into the world. You can see advanced technology all around you, and yet somehow the world feels even more dystopian because of it. Well, I just unlocked a new fear. Parkour. I wonder what this gun does. Okay, so jokes aside, the gunplay in this game is really fun. The weight of the guns feels good, pistols make you feel speedy and light on your feet, and the larger machine guns and other heavy weapons have a lot of heft to them, something that I think a lot of games can really get wrong. 30 bullets a second feels as uncontrollable as it looks, and it makes the firing experience truly enjoyable. As for characters and your interactions with the world, it's quite jarring in a good way. Characters are so used to the exploitative world that they live in that something we would see as a human right is completely alien and outlandish to them. This really helps you feel immersed in the world. You react the same way your character wants to react, either in sheer shock, confusion, or disgust sometimes. As much as this is a benefit, however, it can also be immersion breaking when it's pushed too far. I was reminded a couple of times that I was just playing a game when some characters said things that just seemed to be a bit too out there, even by the Outer World standards. The Marauders are yet another reminder of this game's version of cannon fodder basic enemies. They're just unspeaking, unfeeling psychopaths that just kill everything that isn't them indiscriminately and seemingly for no reason. It should should be noted that the Marauders are explored in much more depth in a DLC, but as for the base game alone, something that I feel that most players will experience, there is no reason for their existence or violence, and nobody around seems to even question it. They just accept it as a fact of life. The game also contains various consumables and a toggleable slow motion to deal extra damage and effects with your gunfire, but I found myself more often than not forgetting the feature even existed and instead choosing to use basic gun combat, which got me by just fine on its own. Having played through the game fully already, the story leaves quite a lot to be desired and is relatively underwhelming. It's not bad by any means, it just isn't anywhere close to amazing, and the game very quickly loses its luster as you play. Of course, this is all just my personal opinion, and you might feel completely differently. Overall, my opinion of The Outer Worlds is that if you enjoyed Fallout and want something similar in a more condensed format, or just want a shorter open world game to play, it's worth picking up. For people looking for open world sci-fi games, there are better options out there, but The Outer Worlds is still worth looking into. I'd personally give it a 7 out of 10. Is it worth playing? For sure. Was it actually any good? I want to say yes, but with the note that it just isn't as good as the other well-known games in the genre. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here's a playlist of other videos similar to this one.